Jorian and I have been talking about all of the changes at CMHC. There's some new programs. Jorian and I have been talking about all of the changes at CMHC. There's some new programs. He's got lots of information about that, and so I asked him if we could hop on and do a recording and talk a little bit about the new CMHC program. And so I'm super happy that Jorian was available today. He's, as you know, he's a great WREN supporter. He's an investor, and he is the Assistant Vice President at DLC Commercial. And so we're always happy to chat with him and hear his advice. And he does a lot of investing himself. And I don't know, Jorian, do you even know how many CMHC deals you've put together over the last few years? Do you keep count?
Yeah, we don't really keep count, but I bet you it's over 1,000.
That's a lot. Conversation quite a few times. We've mostly focused on the MLI Select program, but there's been a lot of changes everywhere in real estate over the last little while, and I know CMHC just made a whole bunch of changes, so I sent Jorian some questions, and we thought we'd work through some of those questions and see about some of the updates. So I guess we start off with, what are some of the changes that have happened to the existing programs? What do we need to know about with CMHC mortgage lending programs?
So yeah, there have been changes, some good, some bad. And CMHC lending programs, they follow a familiar arc. They're always launched with very little fanfare, and brokers like myself have to kind of figure it out as they go along. And then after 6 months or so, they're kind of discovered, and then they're adopted by developers, and then things go crazy. And once the boring public catches on, then CMHC is like a guy drinking from a fire hose, and they're trying to adapt. And then what they do is application volumes go way up, and CMHC has limited staff. And so what they do is they make it harder to qualify. And so MLI Select is no stranger to this. And, it was launched a little over 2 years ago, and it was an answer to the RCFI program, which was a really fantastic program originally when it was launched, got super busy. They changed the program, made it harder to qualify for. MLI Select came out and sort of took its place because it made it easier to qualify. Like RCFI, you really never really knew where you were at, if it was going to work or not. MLI Select, as long as the numbers work, which is what we do, like we figure out from a pro forma point of view, does it fit the program? And if it does, then you've got a done deal. And as it's on a point system. So 100 points gets you up to 95% of cost, gets you a 50-year amortization and a 1.1 debt service coverage ratio. And so all of those things, together make the deal really fantastic. Even though rates are high right now, it still made, deals that were, if there wasn't insured, made them doable.
Yeah, so, exactly. Well, a 50-year amortization, that's, pretty good.
Incredible.
I mean, really.
And so one thing that, and it's a pretty substantive change. So there's 3 criteria to the program, and one of them was energy efficiency. And so the BC Building Code, which is basically Step Code 3, dictated that if the building met that standard, it was energy efficient as far as CMHC was concerned. And so they would grant you 100 points just on energy efficiency. So you didn't have to do any affordability or accessibility, which are the 2 other criteria under MLI Select. And so what CMHC has done now is they've capped the number of points that you can get under energy efficiency at 50 rather than the 100. So what that means now is you have to include some affordable units in your building, whether you're buying something existing or you're constructing. And so, those numbers that CMHC says are affordable, they're 5 years old. They're from StatsCan. They were put together in 2019. And, over the last couple of years, rents have just gone crazy. And so those numbers are really out of date. And so what that does is it kind of saddles your building with a 10-year covenant that you're going to keep those rents at those, I think unrealistically low rates for a long time. So it lowers your cash flow, lowers your income, and it makes your building worth less actually during that time. So those are some of the negatives. And, people adapt, and we're going to adapt, and we're going to make the program work and that kind of thing. But I would say that's the biggest negative in MLI Select. I will say on the positive side that
Oh, there's some positives. Oh, let's hear
there's some
those,
positives.
Jorian.
Yeah. So back in May of 2020, CMHC said you can't do any refinances unless you're going to reinvest that money into another project, or you're going to build something, or you're going to buy something that's multifamily. So they've taken that requirement away. They've relaxed it, which is pretty nice, because a lot of times, you know, people will need a refinance on a piece of property to pay out investors, or you know, they've got another place where that money came from, and they've got to repatriate those dollars. And so CMHC, up until today, actually June 19th, they said we're not going to allow that, and that created some issues for some people, and so they're taking that away, which is quite nice.